Okay, what's up you guys, how's it going? It's Papa, and today I'm going to be showcasing you guys a brand new deck that I haven't brought to you on the channel actually, and that is branded Chimera. So longtime watchers of the channel will realize that I am not really big on fusion summoning strategies, and that is the truth. I'm still really not. But growing up watching the show, I really did like all of the Chimera cards that Yugioh used in the anime, and I was basically just, that's kind of how this whole love for the game actually kind of started, because I just thought Gazelle and Burpamat were just some of the coolest cards to ever come out in the game, and I still feel that way. I mean, they're still really cool, and the fact that you can do a whole deck based on those cards is amazing. I am still toying with this deck though. I'm still not fully set in stone on the kind of build that I want to play. This is just my first take on the deck, as I do want to keep trying to play this, figure it out more for the upcoming format. We are about to head into Age of Overlord season, so I want to be sure that I'm testing different strategies, and the way that I found to be the most beneficial way of playing this game is to test decks that you're not comfortable playing against and play them for yourself, see where the weak points are, so that way you just kind of know how to interact with those strategies. I'm still just not the hugest fan, again, of fusion summoning, so I mean, this is just very different for me in terms of playstyle, because I am used to doing basically everything else except this. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase you guys the list that I have so far. I mean, again, it is still just a work in progress. There are cards that I want to play with this deck that I currently have loaned out to a friend right now, and I will talk about those when I get into it. But I'm done babbling. I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys the deck profile. So starting off, of course, for the main deck, we do play 3 of the Cornfield Codal. Basically, this card is just so broken for what it does. What it says is that if this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by battle, but you can use each effect of Cornfield Codal once per turn. You can discard this card and add 1 monster that mentions Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand, except Codal. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control while you control Chimera, the flying mythical beast, you can banish this card from the field or graveyard and negate the effect and destroy it. So it's built-in protection, which is very good for your Chimera, and then also the fact that this is a searcher is just really cool. If you know that your opponent's playing on Draw and Lockbird, I would suggest maybe cutting a copy or 2 out depending on the matchup, but this card just puts in so much work making the deck go around basically. We are on 3 copies of Mirror Sword Knight. Cards just busted. I mean, if people have seen a Chimera list, this is just the very standard lineup. I'll show you, we play the 3 Sword Knight, 3 Gazelle, 2 Burpamat. Basically what they do, Mirror Sword Knight is a quick effect that battles a monster, it can't be destroyed by battle. I mean, they all have that effect, which is really busted. And then you can use each effect per turn. You can tribute this card to special summon a monster from the deck that mentions Chimera Fusion, except Mirror Sword Knight. And then when they activate a monster effect while you control flying the mythical beast, you can banish it from the graveyard or the field and negate the effect. So also just more extra forms of protection. Gazelle is really cool for what it does. Normal or special summon, you can add a level 5 Fiend monster or 1 Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand, which is really busted. And then if it's sent to the graveyard as fusion material for a fusion summon, you can add 1 illusion monster from your deck to your hand. So very good, because this card lets you add Cornfield from deck to hand or Mirror Sword Knight for the follow-up. So it's very just busted for that instance. Burpamat being just a little bit worse since it is a level 5. Add a Chimera Fusion and or a level 4 Beast from your deck to your hand when it's normal or special summon, which is busted. If this card is sent to the graveyard as fusion material for a fusion summon, you can target 1 illusion monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So basically when you use this with material, it helps you chain block your Guardian Chimera or your regular Chimera, basically making it to where this can summon out either a Gazelle or it can summon out a Mirror Sword Knight, depending on what it may be. But card puts in a lot of work, really nice. And the difference that I'm playing is I'm doing 2 copies of Chimera Fusion. I have seen List play 3, but I feel like what this card does, you can just go ahead and play 2 with it, at least for right now. Again, still doing testing, but I like 2 because it can just add itself back when you set up your whole Chimera turn 1, and it's a quick play, so you can do it to dodge cards like Infinite Impermanence, cards like Effect Veiler. Very, very clean, but I do feel like with the consistency that this deck has, you can get away with 2 copies. So that's going to do it for the Gazelle part of the deck, or the Chimera stuff, whatever it may be. I then play 1 copy of the Light Hex Sealed Fusion, which is very clean. I do feel like this could probably be Versago, the Destroyer. I don't know the actual name of it, but it's basically just a extra monster that you can send through Branded Fusion to make it any other material that you need it to be. And then of course I'm on 2 File of Albaz with 3 Branded Fusion to pair with it. So this basically just helps you end on like a much better end board, making it to where you could have like Mirror Jade or Dragoon, whatever it may be, but these cards are just broken. So I do feel like you do have to play some kind of branded engine in this deck, so very nice. I do play the Fright for Patchwork engine, so I do play 2 Chain, 2 Patchwork, 2 Poly, and then I am opting for 2 copies of Super Poly as well. Basically, I don't have access to my Fenrir's right now. If you look at any other Chimera lists, you will see that Kashtira Fenrir is a like main staple for the deck. I don't have those on hand with me at the moment. They are being lent out, so even if I wanted to play Fenrir, I can't. But I honestly like this package. I mean, basically, like playing the Poly, the perk of this is that when you have this in the graveyard and you make your Guardian Chimera, basically it makes it to where they can't be affected once, so that's very nice. So I do like this engine for that whole aspect, and I feel like if you are playing a fusion deck, you do have to play Super Volley in some way, shape, or form, but granted, it's been fine. I definitely don't want to play 3 because it does brick. I really can't stress that enough. I do feel like 2 is fine, and then when you're like side decking, you can always side this package out as well if you don't need it. So that's it for the like Poly engine for the deck. And then the rest of the main deck is basically just interruptions or non-engine per se. We play 3 copies of Ash, just the most versatile of this format. I play 2 copies of Nibiru. I don't like 3. I feel like you could play 3 if you want to, but I try to keep the deck as close to 40 as possible. And since you're playing so many engines, you can't really fit too much non-engine. You just want to have ones that kind of just benefit you for whatever it may be. And if you are playing Fenrir, this does kind of conflict with the Fenrirs, if I may be honest. So completely up to you. But if you like Nib and you have this on the field, you can like tribute the Nib for like your Baphomet if you need to. But it is just what it is. 2 Imperm. You don't really need 3 since you are drawing off of Guardian Chimera. I wouldn't really suggest playing 3 of this because if you draw this during your opponent's turn, it's kind of dead anyway. So this could be Effect Veiler if you'd like to, but I just like it for playing around zones if you really need to. I play 3 copies of Crossout Designator. I have seen people play this and I have seen people not play this. Personally, I like it because it does help you when you get hit by like any of these cards. But again, if you are getting hit by like infinite permanence against your opponent, then what you can do is you can do the Chimera Fusion to just make sure your effect goes off, but it is what it is. But 3 Crossout just puts in work, and then it also helps if you like side deck D-Barrier, you can just play a D-Barrier to make it to where you won't be locked out of fusions. So 3 Crossout just puts in a lot of work. I really like this card a lot. And 2 copies of Talent and 1 Call by the Grave. I was debating on playing a Prosperity for like the 41st card, so that way you could have it for yourself, but also if your opponent is on Prosperity, you can cross out, call the Prosperity, and just make it to where they banish 6 cards from their extra deck, and they're kind of just sitting there without 6 cards. So that idea is nice, but again, I just wanted to try the deck at 40 just to see how I like it and see like what tickles the fancy basically. But that's going to do it for the main deck. We are on 40 cards, no more, no less. Moving on to the extra deck, I'm not going to get into a side deck for this one just because it is a work in progress, and since we are about to enter a new format here in the next coming weeks, I wanted to make it to where you guys can just test the deck as a template and then just do the side deck for whatever tickles your fancy, whatever is good for your locals, whatever it may be. But for the extra deck, of course, we are on 2 copies of Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts. I wouldn't play 3 of this personally. I think just having 2 is fine because it's really just so strong. I mean, this card just does a whole lot with the whole hand ripping, and then the graveyard effect to summon 2 guys back out is also very nice as well, but card's just good. 2 Guardian Chimera. I mean, this is basically your win con. This card just does a whole lot for you. Basically making it to where you can draw cards and interrupt your opponent's field is just very nice. And again, if you are playing Poly, what it does is that it cannot be targeted with card effects. So very busted, so you definitely want to be able to make sure that this card goes uninterrupted, because if you do resolve it, you're most likely winning the game. And then of course, like the standard stuff, I do play the 1 Chimera, the Illusion Beast. I do play 1 Magnum, the Reliever, just as extra names, just in case they do come up. Every now and then they do, but I personally haven't summoned Magnum. I've just been summoning the Illusion Beast, so it is what it is. We play 1 Grimbrum just to help in case like your hand's not good, if this card just helps you get out of that brick that you may run into. 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Albion, and 1 Lubellion for basically the whole branded package. I do play 1 Dragoon as well to complement with all of these, just in case you need to make it, and shocker, you do. This is like your main negate for the deck. You don't really end on any other negates other than like the Sword Knight and the Cornfield inside the graveyard, but Dragoon just is way better in general, and unaffected, or can't be targeted, so that's always clean. One Dracostapelia, one Garura, one Mud Dragon, and one Starving Venom. These are like the 2 flex spots I feel like for the deck. Again, they're just here because they're just super poly targets, but honestly, you could probably use these 2 and maybe even the Dracostapelia if you want to, as whatever makes you feel better. But that's it for my deck profile, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I mean, again, it is just a work in progress. It's something that I have been testing. I really am not a huge fan of fusion summoning, as you have heard me say like probably a few times this video, but I definitely want to try and expand my horizon because I've just been playing Sprite every day of my life, so I definitely want to be able to bring you guys different kind of content. I want to be able to like basically know what's going on in the format, and it basically, it's like if you can't beat it, join it. So I'm not really like too big on this, but I do like this deck a lot and I like what it does, and of course anime always comes into the factor as well. But yeah, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for the video. Please like, comment, subscribe for more. And until next time, guys, this has been Papa, and I will catch you all in my next video.